Usopp is one of the first people to join the Straw Hats. He's a coward who overcomes his fear in the most impressive of ways, a liar whose lies often turn out to be true, and one of the greatest snipers in anime history. There's a whole lot of interesting trivia and details to learn about him, and we have some for you right here. What are some things you didn't know about Usopp? Here's one. According to Eiichiro Oda, he's responsible for cutting the rest of the crew's hair. Well, not totally responsible, Robin also works alongside him. While his sniper/hairdresser role is pretty cool, Oda originally had another role for him in mind, the vice captain of the Straw Hats. Number 1. While Usopp is pretty dedicated to the pirating life, his creator has an idea of what he might be doing, and where he'd be from in another life. That life would be lived as a graphic designer in Africa. Usopp is a creative person with strong art skills, so graphic design is on point. Africa seems a little vague, it's a gigantic continent with 54 countries. It'd be nice if Usopp's hypothetical home were somewhere as specific as Nami's, which is Sweden. Still, it's interesting to know how Oda sees his characters in an alternate universe. Number 2. 4Kids made a lot of changes to One Piece in order to make it more appropriate for young children. One of those changes involved Usopp's slingshot-based attacks. 4Kids removed the words "sure kill" from any of the moves they appeared in order to avoid any references that might be upsetting or objectionable. Number 3. While some have attributed the role to Zoro, the Straw Hats don't really have a vice captain. But if Oda had kept his initial design for Usopp, he would have filled the position. He would have looked different, too, he'd have had a shorter nose, and would have more closely resembled his father Usopp. One thing is the same, though he'd have still been a sniper. Number 4. Usopp has never eaten a devil fruit or developed any of its associated powers. If he did, Oda has an idea of which fruit would be the most appropriate for him. That fruit is the poke fruit, which allows the user to create pockets all over their body that can store objects that are much larger than the pockets themselves. In the series, Flamenco uses this ability to store giant hammers and other weapons. Usopp could easily use the poke fruit to store the slingshots, eggs, Tabasco, and other supplies he needs for his attacks. He could even store other weapons like guns or cannons. Number 5. In Volume 30, Usopp is seen wearing a pair of unusual shoes that has tentacles coming out of them. When a fan asks Oda to explain what the deal with those shoes were, he said this: a brand new invention developed at Usopp's factory, Octopack shoes. They have suckers on the back, so technically if you wear 4, one for each limb, you should be able to climb anything, or so says Usopp, at least. We're not sure exactly how powerful they are. Does this mean that Usopp actually owns a factory, or is that just a joke? Probably a joke, but it's interesting to imagine him with that sort of job. Number 6. Usopp is just 17 when the series begins, which means that he's a long way off from being middle-aged. But while we probably won't see Usopp as a 40 or 60-year-old man in the series itself, Oda did create some drawings that depict him at a more advanced age. In one set, life has gone pretty well for him. In the other set, something has gone horribly wrong. Number 7. Constant lying is both one of Usopp's greatest skills and one of his greatest flaws. He lies in order to pump up his reputation, to get out of frightening or difficult tasks, and to create fantasies that make himself and other people happy. Not all of his lies stay that way, some turn out to be true later on. He's told stories about seemingly mythical creatures like dragons and Cerberus, which turned out to actually exist later on. He once pretended that a beautiful swordswoman carrying meat was arriving. Rebecca would appear doing just that in Dressrosa. Is this all just a coincidence, or is Usopp secretly psychic? Number 8. Usopp's goggles aren't just there for show. They have a functional purpose and some special features. Oda explains, those are goggles. Sniper goggles. At first he only wore them for looks, but in Logetown, he got the brand new model from North Blue. The scene on the right was supposed to be the first page of chapter 98, in volume 11. The number of pages went over the limit, so we scrapped it. The goggles have sunglasses on them to eliminate glare when aiming, and they can flip up and turn around and stuff like that, so Usopp really likes them. Number 9. Usopp is a pretty unusual name, so you might have been wondering where Oda got the idea. While Oda hasn't confirmed this, it seems likely that his name is a portmanteau between Uso, which means lie, and Aesopio, which is the Japanese pronunciation of Aesop, a writer known for fables which include The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Usopp's backstory is quite similar to this classic tale, in that both protagonists lie repeatedly to their neighbors and then aren't believed when something bad happens. Number 10. Usopp's long nose is among his most noteworthy features. Why is it so long? Oda has never explained, but it seems likely that it was inspired by Pinocchio, a fairy tale character whose nose grows in length whenever he lies. But Oda has said one thing about Usopp's nose. He said that it's longer than Keiku's. Keiku and Usopp have noses that are about the same length, but Usopp's has a rounded tip that makes it stick out just a little bit further. Number 11. Usopp's birthday is April 1st, or April Fool's Day. This is appropriate since one of the things he's best known for is telling lies. April Fool's Day is celebrated in Japan, so it seems possible that Oda chose the date intentionally. Number 12. Usopp Gallery Pirates is a special feature in the Tankobon editions of the One Piece manga, which features One Piece fanart alongside commentary from Usopp. While most of the artists are not especially well known, there is a famous submitter worth mentioning, Kohei Horikoshi, creator of My Hero Academia. Horikoshi submitted a postcard that was published in volume 23, long before his own manga career took flight. Number 13. When a fan asked how the Straw Hats keep their hair looking neat and trim, Oda joked that Zoro cut everyone's hair using his swords, before saying that really, it was Usopp and Robin who took care of the crew's hairdressing needs. True, their hair does grow out. So who gives haircuts on the crew? Why, it's Zoro. He turns on the rest and goes, "Tiger Trap." The real answer is probably Usopp or Robin. Maybe I should draw a heartwarming picture of a haircut someday. Number 14. Usopp's voice actor, Kappei Yamaguchi, does more than just provide Usopp's voice. He also wrote the music that went along with the Soaking theme song after Oda wrote the lyrics. It's not surprising that Yamaguchi provided his musical talents. Outside of voice acting, he's also created several albums and singles, including Fancy Lala Final Best Selection, 1998, Shawa Hit Studio, 2011, In Makun Dororan in Makun Miramera, and more. But out of everything he's done, he is most frequently asked to perform the Soaking song. Number 15. While Usopp was in Skypiea, he introduced the people there to rubber bands. They were so taken with this invention that they created a rubber band-inspired theme park called Wagamaland. A statue of Usopp stands in the front, but his name is spelled wrong, with only one P instead of two. Do you agree with our lists or did we miss something? Write it down in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe.